calls on parties to develop and periodically submit national reports containing information on the greenhouse gas emissions of that party and describing the steps that it has taken and plans to take to implement the Convention. In relation to this Conference of Parties, the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan calls on parties to conclude negotiations on an effective, comprehensive, and equitable climate change regime beyond 2012, in line with the ultimate objective of this Conference of Parties. Calls on parties to conclude negotiations on an effective, comprehensive, and equitable climate change regime beyond 2012, in line with the ultimate objective of this Conference of Parties, so to ensure that there is no gap between the first and second commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol. Calls on parties to strengthen and increase technical support to developing and especially least developed countries for climate change as a humanitarian threat. Urges parties to implement more flexible and accessible financing mechanisms for climate change adaptation and mitigation activities in developing countries, especially least developed countries, as a means of compensation for their relative and disproportionate climate change contribution. Urges parties to adopt emission reduction targets post-2012 that will reduce risk of global average temperature exceeding 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by reducing greenhouse emissions from all sources at least 50% below the 1990 levels by 2050. And finally, Excellencies, Madam President, for the ashes of our fathers and the children of our sons, let us unite and save our only home, this planet that we lovingly call Mother Earth. Thank you very much for your attention.